I was starting at square one with friends in Finland, in a foreign country where they're known for essentially hibernating from like October to March. So it was really hard. Hello, friends. It's been a while. It's been a little while since I've sat down and just chatted. I am a little bit sick. I'm recovering from the classic fall cold right now. Did some traveling and came back sick. Anyways, welcome back to my channel, guys. Today's video, I want to talk about a topic I have been thinking about for a while, and I think it's something I am qualified to talk about, which is making friends, and specifically making friends while living abroad. So making friends is hard, and making friends in a totally new country, a new culture, and thousands of miles away from anyone you know is difficult. As many of you know, I lived in Finland for about 10 months, from August of last year to June of this year. I moved there with my partner, and he was going to school, and I was just hanging, just taking time away from work and leaving the country for the first time, and just using it as an experience to kind of not really start over, although I think that's kind of what ended up happening, but yeah, just like seeking adventure and wanting to create some change in my life. Yeah, I lived there with Daniel for 10 months, and it was spectacular. I've made a lot of videos about it. It was a great experience, but it was incredibly lonely because I didn't make very many friends, and I didn't have a lot of connection with the friends I had back home, mostly because of time difference and a few other things as well. We just lived there for 10 months. Yeah, regular life, groceries, dinner, walking around the city on the weekends. We went to the sauna every weekend, except there was a pretty big thing that made my experience living there pretty different from normal, I guess. And that was that we didn't have any money coming in. Like, we didn't have jobs, and we just had the money that we had saved before we moved, so our big expenses were covered and stuff. We thought we'd be able to work jobs while we were there, and it just didn't end up happening. So yeah, I think that affected my experience making friends and integrating into the culture. Like, if you have a job, you can not only make friends there, like coworkers and people that come into wherever you work, but you're also making money, and then you can go out and do things like, go to a coffee shop or go to a bar or go shopping or invite a friend to do something. Like, I don't think you have to spend money to hang out with people, but I think if you're trying to make friends and you're just trying to throw yourself out there, it's really hard if you don't have any money to spend and you have to, yeah, I think all cultures, lots of cultures, just that's how you connect with people, is by going out to eat or going out to shop or going out to do something that usually costs money. So, yeah, all of the places where you like really meet people, I didn't really go to because I was just alone in my apartment. So yeah, my time living in Finland was very interesting. It was a really strange time in my life, unlike any other time in life or season, whatever you want to call it. I was very alone in a lot of ways, and some ways I think really benefited me, but some ways got really difficult throughout our time there. Mainly just not having a lot of friends and not having as much to do, and then not having money to do things. Like, now that I have a job and back in America, and I, am generating income and am able to do things, I'm like, man, why was I so sad in Finland? Like, I was in such a beautiful place. It was like my favorite kind of weather, all these other things, and I had access to all these cool things. And then I remember, oh yeah, I didn't have any money to spend. Like, just thinking about all of the money I spend on a daily basis, it's a lot, but I'm also making money. So I think that kind of helps turn that gear. And that was just like non-existent for me in Finland. So that made my time and my mental health and my, connection and social interactions very interesting and difficult. And I've grown up most of my life in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've made a lot of friends, but so many of the friends that I've made have been through family or through school or like just ones that I'd had for years and years. Even the ones I've had more recently in life had been built because of other friendships I had had for years and years and years. So I've never really lived somewhere totally on my own without any previous social experience like already having been done for me by family or older siblings and stuff. So when I moved to Finland, I not only had to make new friends, but I had to go off of very little connection, didn't have very many connections in the city. So that didn't help my experience very well. I also had some close friends after we moved to Finland just kind of stopped talking to me. And so I think in about January-ish, that made it really, really difficult. Kind of in the middle of our time there, made it really difficult feeling like not only do I not have very many friends, but now my close friends back home are like not in my life anymore. So anyway, I was starting at square one with friends in Finland, in a foreign country where they're known for essentially hibernating from like October to March. So it was really hard. So I wanted to make a video about making friends and making friends abroad. I want to talk about 5 things I wish I could go back in time and tell myself at the beginning of my time living abroad. I think if I knew these things those first few weeks, I think I would have avoided a lot of loneliness and a lot of anxiety about leaving the house, and maybe I would have had more friends, or maybe I just would have invested more and been more vulnerable and been more open to a deeper connection with the friends that I did have, which were wonderful, and I'll be talking about them in my video. Either way, I think I would have been a lot happier if I knew these things. So let's get into it. Number 1, people are thinking way more about themselves than they're thinking about you. We all know this. This is not new information. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but it really is true. And I think in hindsight, looking back on my time in Finland, I felt really anxious about leaving the house, and it was just really hard for me to get out. I don't know why. I think I kind of became accustomed to being a lot more of an introvert. And so when I would go out, I was really sensitive to the people walking on the street around me. And I just felt like they knew that I had nothing going on in my life and that I was alone and that I was sad and that I was feeling heartbroken. I just feel like everybody could tell. And so I was afraid to go out a lot. I look back and I'm like, why wasn't I just more bold? And why didn't I just go out? I'm a lot more confident now. And I think my mental health is a lot better being in a job and having other people around me and being around friends and family and just in an environment that's familiar. But I look back and I'm like, man, I really could have just gone out and done whatever I wanted and nobody would have cared. And I think I should have just been more bold in my like day-to-day life, just walking around and living my life. I was just always thinking that other people were thinking that I was like pathetic or something, which is just not true. Yeah, I don't ever think about that with anybody. I'm often like, oh man, they have way more confidence than me, or oh, the fact that they're wearing that, or that they're just like boldly talking to someone, or that they're just like not afraid to be who they are out in public. Like I often have way more respect for people than I ever have a negative thought about someone out in public. So yeah. Okay, second thing on my list. If you don't ask, you won't know. Another thing that seems really simple. I think I was afraid to like talk to people in person, but even like online and stuff. All of the people I met through like just Instagram and getting connected with people online. I think I would see people that looked really cool and that were like literally in my city and down the street from me. I could tell like, oh, they live in the building, 2 doors down from me or whatever. And I wouldn't like make any inquiries, like I wouldn't ask anybody to hang out. And I did twice. I met 2 friends. One was through like a knitting event that I went to that I was like so so scared to go to. I was so anxious to go to that thing. But I met my friend Doxy there, and then I met my other friend Kate just through Instagram. Like, she followed me randomly and I followed her back, and I messaged her and asked her to hang out. So we did, and she became like literally one of my best friends in Finland. So yeah, I think I just wish I would have done that more, because it was so easy the first few times that I did that, but then I just kind of got in my head about it and thought, oh, I'm not cool enough, or again, like, I don't have enough money to go do this or this or this. But I don't think that people that will really be your friend care if you have like tons of money or not, especially if there's other people living abroad. They might not have a lot of money, so you should just get together and go do something cheap or go do something free. Yeah, I think I just should have done that more. And I withheld a lot because I was afraid. So I feel like I missed a lot of opportunities where I could have made friends or I could have talked to people and felt a lot less alone. I just didn't. It wasn't that there wasn't community there for me. It's just that I didn't seek it out. That kind of segues into number 3, which is you should cast your net wider. I've been trying to think about like what I want to call this, you know, what this bullet point is called. I kind of think of it as like a net. It's also kind of like when you apply to like a university, you apply to a bunch of them. You don't just apply to the one that you want to go to. You apply to like 5 or 10 or 15. You know, you apply to a lot of places hoping that one is going to bite. And I think that's another thing I just didn't really do. I should have been sending out like cold messages almost to a bunch of different people that I thought would be fun to hang out with that were like in my area. And I just didn't, I was picky, but not in a way where I was like judging them. I just was like prematurely thinking they were going to judge me. So then I just wouldn't act on it. It's silly now, but it really prevented me, I think, from having a lot of connections with people because I just thought that people wouldn't want to hang out with me. And so I didn't ask. And I think if I could go back, like, I think I would encourage myself. I would encourage anybody else who's living abroad or just trying to make friends. Honestly, you don't have to be living abroad, but just like craft a message that feels, genuine and feels like an accurate representation of what you would want to say if you were trying to meet someone, and send it out to a bunch of people. Just be like, hey, I'm new to this area and, here are some of my interests. I'm just looking to find like-minded people or find someone to go hang out at a coffee shop with. There's the worst that can happen is that people are just like, I guess they say no, or maybe if they like ghost you and they don't respond. That's probably not the worst. I feel like the worst that could happen was people saying like, no, I can't hang out with you. But that never, I never really sent messages out, but even if I did, I sent a few out to people, no one ever said no, people just didn't see it or didn't respond. Yeah, I think just casting your net wider and throwing out a lot of different options, even if you don't think that you would be a lifelong friend. Looking back on my experience, I think it would have been really good for me to go hang out with a bunch of different people, even if I didn't end up being any of their friends. If I just had 10 or 15 separate new person friend dates with one new person each time over the course of the 10 months there. If I just did that once a month, I think my mental health would have skyrocketed because I would have felt like I was having connection with people instead of just being cooped up at home all day until my next outing that I had planned weeks before. Number 4, it's okay to overshare with new friends. I remember having this feeling like the friends that I had, I really liked them, but I wish that they knew me better. I wish that I could hang out with someone who's known me for 10 years. The getting to know you phase in a friendship can be really exhausting, and you can kind of not know how to navigate it, and it can be challenging to work through because you're I want to hang out with you, but I don't want to tell you about me. I just want you to know. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I remember Daniel and I both thought that a lot. Man, I just want to hang out with, my brother right now, or I just want to hang out with this friend who's known me for 15 years or whatever. I think if you do it wisely and obviously not overstepping boundaries of people or anything, but I think it can be okay to overshare and just kind of spill your guts to someone oh man, I'm going through this and this and this and this. And I feel like I did that a few times with some of my friends where I said, oh, this is happening or this is happening. And anytime I gave any more than just kind of the surface level, everyone around me was oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Or, oh man, I've been through something just like that. And we were able to connect more. But I was just really kind of terrified to do that because I thought, again, just oh, I'm probably not good enough, or I'm going through too much right now, or I'm going through something that they're not going to understand, or whatever. I don't know what I said to myself, but whatever I said, it was enough to talk me out of not opening up more. And I think about that time in the middle of my stay in Finland, where I had some not so savory experiences with some friends back here in Nashville. I just remember feeling like really heartbroken, and I wanted to talk to people about it, but I just felt like it would be too much. I look back on that time and I'm thinking like, I wish I would have talked about that with my friends. I wish I would have said, hey, like, I don't, I'm not like putting this on you or anything, but like, you are one of the closest friends I have right now because I've lost some friendships back home. I just am really thankful for your friendship, and it means a lot more to me in this time because I don't have those connections that I had before. And I wish I would have shared more about that with my two friends. And I think I have a little bit of a regret about that, but you can only go forward. And yeah, I would just say like, it's okay to overshare a little bit. It's okay to kind of just spill what's on your mind and what's in your heart and what's going on in your life. It's okay to share with new friends about that. Because I think that's when we can develop deeper connection, is when we realize that we're not alone and that people are going through things. And if you want to tell me about something really difficult in your life and I can kind of help you carry it emotionally, like, I think that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to like help each other go through things. And I'm sure that other people feel that way too about their friends. Like, I want to know what's going on in your life that's hard, because it helps us grow closer together and it helps us feel more connected when we know how the other person might be hurting and how they might need support. Okay, the last thing on my list, number 5, things I wish I would have known during my time living abroad about making friends, is it's okay to need friends. I got it in my head that it was okay to isolate myself so much. I think for a time it totally was. We were there for 10 months, and I think the first 3 months I was like, it's just me. Like, it's just me every day, hibernating, painting, and I was watching movies, and I was just like taking a break from busy work life. And those were really great. But by the time like end of December hit, it was dark like most of the day, 4, 5, 6 hours of sunlight at the most. It was cold. Daniel was in school and he was working a lot, and I didn't have a job. And so I just was spending all my time alone at home, and it just hit me. And I think I just should have been a little bit more proactive about that. I think that it should have been a higher priority in my life, even if it made me uncomfortable to just get out there and try to meet people. I just had a lot of anxiety, like so much anxiety. And it was really, really crippling and terrible. And every day when I would wake up, the first thing I would think about was that I didn't have the friends that I had when I left for Finland. And the last thing I would think about before I went to bed was the heartbreak I was experiencing, going through kind of that loss of friendship. And it was like always in the back of my head and at the forefront of my mind every time I'd wake up and every time I'd go to sleep. So I think it was just really hard for me to get out of that like cycle of thinking that I wasn't good and that I was a bad friend and that, I was never going to meet anybody again, or I was never going to have meaningful friendships. I think just like pushing myself out into the world would have been really helpful. The cookie crumbled the way it did, and I'm okay, and I will be okay. But if I could go back in time, I think I would have just like forced myself to just get out and do something, even if it made me super uncomfortable. I just wish I would have done more of that. And I kind of started to do things in like April and May, kind of during the end of our time, because we left in June, and it was so much fun. And I was like, why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I just go out and like meet people and just try to put myself in a social scenario, even if I didn't have any money, Anyway, thinking that you don't need friends and thinking that it's okay to isolate for so long is very unhealthy, because we need people, we need friends, we need community, we need people that know what's going on in our lives. And I think I would just tell myself that like, it's okay, like this need that you have for friends, it's okay. And it's okay to need people. It's okay to like have it be a physical and an emotional need, because that's what it is. And a little bonus thing at the end here, a 6th thing on this list, is that it's okay to start over. I just turned 26, and in my head, I feel like it's so dumb to say it out loud. Like, it's seriously so dumb. I feel like my life is over. Like, I literally feel like my life is over. And I hate that I think that, because in my head, it's like super, like, it's totally a just and a good thought. Like, yeah, your life is over, Kaylee. You're never going to do anything better. You're never going to meet friends. You're never going to do anything you want to do. But then when you say that out loud, like, I am literally tiny in the grand scheme of things. And as far as like career goes, life experience and success and artistry, whatever, like, I have so much ahead of me. And I just really thought it was over for me. I thought that my friend group before I moved to Finland was the best that I would ever have. And I thought that my relationship before I moved to Finland, like the nature of our relationship, was the best that it was ever going to be. My career, whatever that means, like I thought that I had already reached the heights of it. And I haven't even done like a drop in the ocean of what I will accomplish. And yeah, so I think my encouragement to myself and my encouragement to anyone else would be like, it's totally okay to start over. It's okay to reinvent yourself any day, any age. It's okay to start over. Your career, it's okay to start over with hobbies and with interests and with friends and with a relationship. And even in your current relationship, it's okay to start over with the same person. It's okay to start over with a new person. Like, letting yourself just begin again is so freeing. And I wish I would have known that. I wish I would have known that, because I was trying to fit myself into this mold the whole time. I just needed to like break the mold and move forward, let myself be new and different, and just reinvent myself. Anyway, that's my advice. I'm excited to make friends in the future. I'm excited to cultivate friendship more with the friends that I have in my life currently. If you have lost friendship, or if it's been difficult to make friends abroad, just know that it is okay to start over. It's okay to be isolated for a time, and it's okay to be uncomfortable and push yourself out into the world. Just feel like nobody is as qualified as I think they are. I think people seem a little bit less scary when you realize that we are all just humans trying to survive and trying to go for it and trying to pursue our dreams. Yeah, I think that's all I have for today, guys. I really appreciate you watching this video if you've made it to the end. If you'd like to be internet friends, please follow along, subscribe, like, comment, the drill. I'm excited to continue making videos. I've made a couple of vlogs just about life and some traveling that we've done, but this is really like, I think this is my most fulfilling way to do YouTube right now, is just talking about things and picking a topic that I'm interested in and passionate about and talking about it, because I just have found a lot of connection through like my old Finland videos talking about life in Finland and life abroad, and my Finland audience is wonderful. They're all so precious and fun, and I love when they comment on my videos and keep up with me, so I'm very grateful for all of you. That's all. I will catch you guys in the next video. Say, Karen. No, I totally get that. You have trouble making friends too? Yeah. I think you have trouble connecting with people on the surface level because you're just like deeper, You're just like more of a below the ground type of friend. You know what I mean?